All right, Wolves, let's get straight into it. Quite a lot to talk about today in regards to everything going on in the market. And it's surprising, right? Because you might think, oh, not much has happened. Wolf, what do you mean? Well, I'll tell you right now, a lot has happened here. A lot is happening. A lot is about to happen. Okay, I'm going to keep it short and sweet. Okay, and I've got a very interesting piece of on-chain data to show you as well. But essentially, this is the case for Bitcoin. Okay, let's remove everything. Remove all the indicators, remove all of the RSI, etc., and we'll narrow it down to this. Let's go to the hourly chart. Okay, you can see the structure we're in now. The hourly chart shows that structure a bit better. We've got a triangular formation on the hourly chart. The apex of that triangular formation is going to be on the 24th of October, which is 4 days away, meaning we will be making a move in the next 4 days. Now, that move, in my opinion, will be downwards because we have, of course, the downtrending dotted yellow line and the yellow line itself rejecting and resisting Bitcoin from moving to the upside. I also think we're going to be seeing a Q4 bottom, and since we haven't seen that yet, I do think that move will be downwards. However, there is more to cover. The interesting things as well is that supporting the fact we'll be seeing the move soon, is the Bollinger Bands. The Bollinger Bands have compressed, and they're compressing quite tightly. And guess what? They've been compressing, right? They've been compressing for, close to like 16 days now. So we're getting very tight in this range here. The range has been ridiculously small. Everyone knows that. We're looking at Bitcoin right now. We're falling asleep because it's been boring. But essentially we're compressing hard. We've got a triangular formation saying the breakout will happen before October 24th. And we've got the larger triangle formation, the larger dotted triangle formation saying the breakout will happen this month in October. Guess what as well? The apex for that larger triangular formation, coincidentally, it's not a coincidence, lines up with the date of the FOMC release. We've got a big rest of the month coming up. Everyone's falling asleep. Everyone's getting bored. I encourage you now more than ever to pay attention, and there's more reasons as well. Another one of the reasons is the RSI. The RSI is reaching an apex on its triangular formation on the 28th of October. So we've got a shorter term triangle on Bitcoin saying we're going to move before the 24th. We've got the RSI saying we're going to move before the 28th. And we've got the larger triangle saying we're going to move before the 2nd of November, right? All of these patterns, these three separate patterns are saying we are moving in October. We're going to move in October. I think, personally, take my word for it, I think Bitcoin will move this week, okay? That's by Sunday. I think Bitcoin will move this week. I think it will move outside of a larger triangle formation this week. We are literally counting down the days. It could happen any day. Now, you guys know my opinion on Bitcoin. Again, I think it's going to go down. I think we will be seeing a retest of that 17.6k low at the very least. If we do break upwards, which is more unlikely in my opinion, but it is possible, but I think it's unlikely. If we do break upwards, we're looking for swings to each one of these upper red lines. The first target would be a 21.7k retest. But ultimately, if we do break upwards, I would expect a trend reversal to be quite likely on Bitcoin. And that is why I have arranged my buying plan accordingly. If we go to my buying plan on the Binance chart, and we just zoom upwards, this is my buying plan. It's 3 separate scenarios. You can pause the video and take a look at it there. The last scenario covers a move upwards without a retest of the lows, which I think is unlikely. The other two cover alternate scenarios. But essentially as well, just adding to all that compression that's going on in the daily chart, even on the 3-day chart, right? We look at the RSI and the 3-day chart. We've got a critical level at 34 on the RSI, which is a red line, which if we look back historically has been a very important RSI line. And then we've got this downtrending yellow line, and we can see that that's reaching an apex in February, okay? So February is a bit far away, obviously, but it does line up with the Q4 bottom. We will be making a major move in the RSI, within Q4, most likely. And then on top of all of this, Ethereum, even Ethereum has an RSI triangle that's saying we're going to move before the 30th of October. Ethereum actually has already broken down from its formation. We had this yellow support line holding us up on Ethereum. We've broken down from that, came back up, resistance support flip, and we've headed back down. We're currently on support, but I don't expect that support to hold. I think Ethereum will break down as well. Just to clarify, all over those things, right? We've talked about all this stuff before. I'm going to bring up a new thing in a second. But all of those things, right? They're all predicting Ethereum, Bitcoin on the daily chart and the 3-day chart. It's all kind of saying, hey, look, this month we're going to see something. I think it's going to be this week. Now, why is all this happening? Why are we getting so tense? Why will there be a big move? Why am I hyping it up so much? The reason is this, and one of the reasons is this. This is the supporting factor of it. If we look at the cash versus margin rate on Bitcoin, this is basically a chart. Essentially, just to sum it up really quickly, it's essentially a chart that kind of measures how many spot positions there are versus how many leverage positions there are at a very fundamental level. Now, look, we've reached an all-time high on the cash margins positions on Bitcoin. What this means is that more people than ever are in leverage positions in comparison to spot positions, right? More people than ever. The market is fully leveraged up right now. And you guys know what this means. It means that basically we can get, we can see market makers, whatever, do massive long squeezes, do massive short squeezes, because everyone's on leverage. Not many people are on spot right now. Everyone's on leverage, right? So we can see massive moves, because it's where leverage is what makes the move so volatile when we see moves. It's the mass liquidations. It's the mass liquidations to the upside and the downside that really propel those huge moves. I think we're going to see something like that, very shortly here. I would not be surprised, especially considering the fact that this is an all-time high. To clarify, it's higher than it was at any point during the bull market. You can see the amount of leverage positions slowly building up throughout this entire bear market, possibly as people try to predict the bottom, or possibly as people load up on shorts to try and catch the trend. I'd say they're too late. I think we will be seeing a huge liquidation sometime soon. On Bitcoin, again, definitely this month, probably this week. To be honest with you, I think we will be seeing a big move on Bitcoin. I think this kind of sideways price action, for the most part, is over. You can pretty much consider it over. Anytime now, we will see some major move on Bitcoin. I'm very confident in that. So now that we've covered all of that, I did have something I wanted to kind of go over. I want to briefly interrupt this video to talk about the BitGet exchange. Now, the BitGet exchange has 5 times lower fees than Binance, which is commonly referred to as the cheapest exchange in the cryptocurrency market. It's also non-KYC or voluntarily KYC, so you can stay true to the fundamental values of cryptocurrency, one of which being anonymity, of course. It's also got a security fund in there, so if you lose your funds by fault of the exchange or by personal fault, you can make a claim and actually retrieve your funds back. On top of all of this, if you sign up using my referral link, you can get access to exclusive discounts and rewards. This is the best exchange on the cryptocurrency market, and I use it personally, and so should everyone at the Wolves of Crypto YouTube channel. Now, if you're interested in actually learning how to trade for yourself, you can check out the Crypto Academy via the website link in the description below. This is a course developed by myself and Megaworld Crypto, a 10-unit course taking you through every single step from step 1 to step infinite about how to become a trader. Go ahead and check that out and chuck us an email at cryptoacademycourses@gmail.com, and we'll get back to you with the full information and payment information if you're interested. Thanks guys for watching the advertisements. Let's get back into the video. We got some community questions in the YouTube community post, and we're going to look at some questions you guys sent in here. So Delta asks, not financial advice, if you're wanting to secure long-term positions for both Bitcoin and Ether, would you buy both at the Bitcoin bottom? So yeah, essentially I would. If I was to buy Ethereum, which I'm not doing, I don't believe in, I'm not going to say I don't believe in it, but I don't personally want to hold Ethereum for long term. I don't think there's enough historical data for Ethereum, simply because, look, we have a whole 4-year cycle on Bitcoin that lasts like 10 years. We don't have any of that for Ethereum. It's actually relatively new from a longer term perspective. We just don't have the macro trend to support it. However, Ethereum does follow Bitcoin very closely. And so if I was to buy Ethereum, I would be buying Ethereum at the Bitcoin bottom. If we look historically, Ethereum does bottom out around the same time when Bitcoin does. So it wouldn't be a bad move from a historical standpoint. So Sparrowhawk asks, when's the best time to buy Bitcoin, Ethereum, and then other altcoins? Again, if I was to buy Ethereum, I'd buy it at the same time as Bitcoin, and I have an extensive buying plan for Bitcoin, as you guys would have seen already. As for altcoins, I will buy altcoins for for holds. I obviously trade altcoins basically daily, maybe like 5 days a week I'm in a trade, right? I trade altcoins all the time, but for holding altcoins, I'll buy at the halving. There's many reasons for that. I've done multiple videos on that in the past. If you type up, what would you type up? If you type up Wolves of Crypto 2024 altcoins halving, it'll probably come up there, and you can see my reasons for that. But yeah, I'm not going to buy long-term hold altcoins until the halving. In fact, I don't believe in long-term holding altcoins at all, but medium-term hold, I should say. So Jas asks me to connect the pivot lines in the 1-day RSI. As you guys know, I use the 3-day RSI quite extensively to see rejection points. He's asking me to do it on the daily chart. Yeah, the daily chart, same thing. It shows us exactly the same thing. In fact, it probably has the same amount of retests as well. So that's completely valid. You can do that. The reason why I use the 3-day though is because we also have 34 on the 3-day RSI, and I use this downtrending resistance line on the RSI as a compression zone to form some sort of triangular formation, so that if we do break upwards, we're going to see a big move. If we do break downwards, we're going to see a big move. You can't do something like that on the 1-day RSI. All you can go off is if we break upwards, we're going to see a big move. So you're missing the downside play there. So that's why I don't do that, but it's perfectly valid, of course. Seven asks, I don't know how to say your name, but he asks, can you tell us your take profit levels when the bull market starts? Again, I'll have to analyze that when the bull market happens. I don't think the bull market's going to happen until 2024, 2025. So yeah, trying to predict where I'm going to take profits 18 months in advance is pretty rough. Yeah, I can't do that. So we'll analyze that when it happens for sure. Should I start to DCA now or hold off for another week or two? Completely up to you, my friend. This is no doubt a decent price for Bitcoin. However, I'm just going to stick to my buying plan. I see my buying plan as much more effective than DCAing. It seems to be much more effective and it's much more planned out. DCAing to me seems a bit random. I don't appreciate randomness of DCAing. I think it just seems a bit blind in a certain sense. It's like, oh yeah, this is a good price. Well, how do you know that? This is why I have the buying plan to kind of make sure there's no doubt in where I think a good prices is. There's no opinionated, there's no opinion involved. It's kind of just what it is, right? We buy when the buying plan tells us, but you could DCA if you want to. I mean, that's completely up to you. Just make sure you're not dumping all of your capital in at one price point, because we could very well drop lower. And if you do, you'll be out of capital. That's why I like to designate specific percentages in advance, so I can not let my personal inclinations get in the way of a good average price on Bitcoin. He says, you've made it clear that you believe in the 4-year cycle determining the bottom for Bitcoin. Considering that we're in a recession and that every bear market and every trend breaks eventually, what are the chances we will see longer term crypto winter this time? What are the chances of crypto dying? What are other good investments? Yeah, so do I think that the 4-year cycle is likely to break now because we're in a recession? And do I think we'll see a longer crypto bear market? I don't think it's likely to break. I think the 4-year cycle has proven itself, even in the midst of a recession, and even in the midst of all the stuff that was brewing in late 2021. Bitcoin still topped out as per the 4-year cycle, not as per when the traditional markets topped out. So I don't see a reason why Bitcoin would have to wait for the traditional markets to bottom if it didn't wait for the traditional markets to top. That's my opinion. Do I think that this is a more likely time for the 4-year cycle to be invalidated than the last cycle? Yes, of course, because we have more unpredictable events, but I don't think it's likely in general. I don't think it's likely. Do I think the 4-year cycle will hold true for the next top? That's not actually what he said, but yes, I do. I think we'll hold true for the next top. What are the chances of crypto dying? And is it now more than ever? Yeah, look, I don't think so. I don't think crypto will die. In fact, I see this as a period of time in which crypto is very advertisable, because what we're seeing right now is high inflation, and whether or not the price of cryptocurrency reflects that or not is irrelevant, because as we know, as per the 4-year cycle, which would exist regardless of this situation, we're in a bear market. So that's irrelevant. The price is irrelevant. The point is, crypto is very advertisable right now, because we're seeing central banks all around the world mismanaging their entire fiat system, and the entire populations are suffering, and people are looking for alternatives. What are the alternatives? What other investments would I consider good? I don't really know. I mean, look, I think stock market is a complete joke. I don't believe in stock market investing. That's just my personal opinion. I think it's all a kind of a big scam and very manipulated. If you think cryptos are manipulated, mate, you should see the stock market, especially individual stocks. That stuff is insanely manipulated. And property is always good. Of course, property is coming down at this point. I will be looking to pick up property for long-term investments at some point next year, 2023, probably Q1 next year, considering the Australian market. But yeah, I mean, there's not really any other. I don't know anyone who's involved in crypto who looks at other assets and like, yeah, that's a great investment. I think crypto really is a safety net. And you could say it's not, because you can look at the price and say it's not. But the point is, it's not about the price, guys. It's about the fundamentals of cryptocurrency, how it's completely separate from that financial system. If that system does collapse, what's going to be the alternative? Were you going to sell your cow? If you hypothetically you live on a farm, you're going to sell your cow. Like you don't have any other form of assets really. You can barter your physical items, but other than that, I mean, crypto's the alternative, right? So yeah, I think crypto's great. Again, property, that's probably luxury cars. If you're interested in that kind of thing, those are pretty good investments if you know how to do it correctly. However, it's pretty abstract and not many people can afford luxury cars, but that's certainly an interesting one as well. I don't necessarily believe in investing in gold or anything like that. That's my personal opinion. I think gold is heavily centralized. I think it relies heavily on fiat currency. I think that if fiat does collapse, gold's pretty much going to get wrecked as well. And people can debate me on that, but I mean, the fact of the matter is, when was the last time we saw gold without fiat? We're talking history here. We're literally talking centuries ago. So I think that gold heavily relies on fiat, simply because, and the supply of gold as well. It's like we 50% of the gold supply or something like that. It's like an additional 50% every decade. It's like, it's not really that much of a hard asset. I mean, it's definitely, harder than soft fiat money, but at this point, and when you got a 50% increase in the supply every decade, how can you call that an hard asset? It hasn't moved in price since like 2011, probably because the supply is increasing so much. So, no, I don't believe in gold. What is the key support for the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ, please? We can look into that. NASDAQ key support right now is 10,300. S&P 500 key support right now is the 200-week SMA. Let's get a better chart up and we can look at that. 200-week SMA is very clearly the critical support as of right now for the S&P 500. So I think that I'll end the video there, guys. I got to most of your questions. There's a few ones there that I didn't see as entirely relevant. But, also I just don't simply have the time to answer that many questions. However, point is, if you have any more questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section of this video below, and I might pick them up in the next video. We'll see how many we get. Maybe we'll get some interesting ones in there. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.